not the curriculum. Well, it could be a bad teacher. But generally, the public school fails because the parents fail. The parents can't get along with the rules. Of course, some of the schools, their rules are stupid and ridiculous. I mean, I could run your schools better than they're currently being run because I have so much expertise. WNIR, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hello, I have some great news for you, boy.
What's that?
I got off the phone with the State Department of Education, and they said that if you can take 3 weeks off for Christmas, you're qualified to be a teacher.
I only took off 2 weeks and a day.
Come on, you took off like 3 weeks counting those weekends. What did you do?
2 weeks and a day.
You're qualified now to be an educator. You don't have to take any license. You're licensed because anybody that gets that much time off, I don't know what to say.
My neighbor's school doesn't go back till Monday.
You're kidding.
They don't go back in the Catholic schools.
Oh, well.
In certain areas, they don't go back till Monday.
Oh, well. Hey, I wonder if they have, if you're allowed to have a cell phone in basic training now. I'm just curious.
Now you cannot have a cell phone in basic training.
Okay,
now you heard the nice lady.
I did.
And I compromised.
She was a Democrat, but go ahead.
She was. If you went to a Republican school like Cleveland St. Ignatius, where they do allow one Democrat from Shaker Heights, there's a throwback.
Okay.
But at St. Ignatius, where most of the kids come from the west side, so they're brought up properly, they know they are absolutely forbidden to use any cell phone, and boy, they can get points and things. But I do believe you're allowed to carry them in your backpack and take it to the classroom.
I suppose that's possible.
What did you think about we'll put it on the back table?
I just back table the whole thing. You don't need a cell phone. How about if you need a cell phone in high school to get notified? How come you don't need a cell phone in kindergarten to be notified?
Well, maybe you do.
There was an ad last night on TV, and it's quite serious. It was on TV. If you're on food stamps or Medicaid, just give them a phone call because you get a free cell phone, 250 minutes a month free, and it was right there on the TV. So
I don't want to pay for that. All right. So the reason why I bring up the cell phone argument is there's something new called cyber baiting.
Yep.
And that's where the students purposely misbehave. Usually with substitutes.
Yeah.
The substitute teacher throws a hissy fit, and they videotape it, and they put it on Facebook. Now, in our day, nobody would have ever thought about humiliating a teacher unless they did something nasty.
Now, you'd be in trouble. You'd be in trouble. Hey, I got a couple quickies. Ready?
Yeah.
American Idol's getting ready to start I think in a couple weeks. But do you know where there's going to be more singing than at American Idol?
That would be the DIMORA trial starting Monday.
The federal courthouse in here in Akron.
Actually, Frank Russo, in his case, is planning to sing so much that we've had prostitution. Now, people don't understand, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to be a bad person, but I make a living this way. This is the Democratic Party on trial.
Yeah.
This is the Democratic Party on trial. And if it's going on in Cuyahoga County, then it's going on in Summit and Portage.
This leads me to a little subject right along the same lines. What do you know about the Democratic politicians in Troy, New York?
Nothing.
Troy, New York, ladies and gentlemen, you didn't find this in the newspaper because they hide these kind of things. The Democratic politicians in Troy, New York, were absentee voting for folks.
What do you mean by?
Go look it up, people. Just like I've always said. How do they know that Grandma Jones in the nursing home voted for Al Schmidt? How did they know that? It turns out a bunch of politicians. Go Google Troy, New York politicians. You'll find out a hell of a big scandal and never got hardly any coverage.
I certainly hope. Now, what do they mean by the et al? It says the et al in the current case is Michael Gabor. He and Jimmy DIMORA, they're only the two out of the 58 or 60 to plead not guilty. It says Gabor, a former Democratic county employee accused of trying to bribe a judge, among other charges. Both he and DIMORA, former head of the Cuyahoga County Democratic Party, have pled not guilty. They expect Frank Russo to sing like Caruso.
It's going to be beautiful. Anyway, I got bunch of shares in Eastman Kodak, and I'll be able to get one lunch today at the Waterloo restaurant.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine Kodak?
Eastman Kodak.
Kodak is going basically out of business because people ain't using film no more.
And I've said this before, everything, I don't care if it's Revco drugstores, Walmart, I don't care what it is, everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And Eastman Kodak at one time, if I would have told you in 1970, Eastman Kodak ain't going to be worth diddly boop 40, you'd have said, you're
No. Let's not go back. 3 years ago, if I walked into the drugstore 3 years ago, the photo department was 25 feet long.
Yep.
They had the, I'll do the processing or even the instant printers.
Oh, the film.
And then just rows and rows and rows of Kodak and Fuji film. Right now, oh, by the way, it was always $6.95 to process your film. Now it's gone to $9.95.
Because nobody's doing it.
And probably next year it'll be $12.95. And I'll be the only person shooting film.
Yep, it's unbelievable. And the people that ran that company, they ran it right into the ground. Now, a couple quickies. Now, I'll let you go.
How did that happen?
Because they refused to. They thought that they thought the automobile would not last, and my horse and buggy business will always be here. So that's what happened.
And then, of course, for years they used silver.
Oh yeah.
In the making of film.
Yep.
But they don't make film anymore, so then you would think the silver would drop.
The digital camera just killed them. Hey, I read the book Killing Lincoln. Now, this is just a trivia thing, because you and I like history, and maybe the couch burner, too. When John Wilkes Booth, they knew who he was. They sent out federal troops in, I think, Maryland, to go through a swamp and just walk right through the swamp and find out if you could find John Wilkes Booth and the other people that were hiding in there. Well, he wasn't in there, but how many federal troops died in the swamp, drowned in the swamp looking for John Wilkes Booth?
I have no idea.
87 federal troops drowned looking for John Wilkes Booth. You could read it. It's a fascinating book. Anyway.
That statistic there is a kick-in-the-face statistic, which you never would believe, because now that'd be considered a massacre.
Oh, my gosh.
And that statistic is as shocking as the one which I keep repeating whenever they talk about, they're going to close the Straits of Hormuz. The price of gas will go to $5. Not a single drop of Persian Gulf Arab oil is used in Ohio. Not a single drop of Arab Persian Gulf oil has ever been used in Ohio or the entire Midwest. We are self-sufficient in American and Canadian oil, and they don't want to build a pipeline.
I'll give you another one. If you want to do the research and find out how many American troops died in the rehearsal for D-Day.
Right? That was hundreds. Hundreds and hundreds of troops. Where did your son die? South of Nottingham in the rehearsal. It was one of the biggest blunders of all time.
Now, the last one is, we're going to go right up to date here. Page A3 in the Beacon. I've given up the Beacon some publicity. Scientists make event invisible. If you want to read about science fiction coming to life, read the article on A3. Basically, what they have done is made a trillionth of a second invisible. It's and what it leads to, you can only guess. It's a fascinating article.
You and I won't be around.
Probably not. But you're not around anyway.
Hey. You have a nice day.
Bye.
Let me tell you about the great